and we are live for episode 38 of the Alt Natives After Hours podcast, brought to you by Axelrad Screen Printing and Wilkes-Barre. Take your brand, group, or team to the next level with creative art designs and high-quality apparel from Axelrad. Visit axelradarmy.com for more info, and check out their social media. They do a deal of the month every month. It's quite intricate, so make sure you check out their social media pages. And this is also brought to you by Coors Light, mountain cold refreshment made to chill. Coors Light just released seltzers, so it's par for the course. It's very good. It's up there with everybody else. It's good. They have grapefruit, mango, black cherry, and lemon lime. I'm drinking it now, so it's very good. And also, a little cross promotion. We teamed up with Coors Light to give away a Traeger grill this summer, or fall rather. And you can get information on that at rock107.com. My name is Popko. I am the host of this podcast, Alt Natives After Hours. I'm also the host of a radio show on Saturday nights called Alt Natives on Alt 92.1, where I get to feature an hour's worth of music from artists in and around NEPA. And this is an extension of that, where I get to kind of just sit down with cool people, whether it's in NEPA or a little bit beyond, artists, business owners, whatever it might be. But today I am joined by Kulick, who I had the pleasure of meeting about 2 years ago. And Kulick was my first on-air interview that I had for my radio show. Kulick is from Tamaqua, correct?
Correct. And you said Kulick, right? Which is rare. So
Kulick, yes, absolutely. Yeah, but Kulick was my very first radio interview 2 years ago, maybe a little bit over 2 years ago. But welcome to the show. I'm glad to have you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I can't believe that was already 2 years ago.
Yeah, I was actually doing some, I went back and listened to that again just to kind of relearn what we talked about back then, because it was only 2 years ago, but it feels like 10. And I'm sure if you're like me, a lot has happened in the past 2 years.
Yeah, it's
and
like
we'll get into
lifetime,
that.
man.
What's that?
It's like another lifetime.
It really is, and we'll get into that because the world between now and 6 months ago is a different place. But tonight we're going to talk about just your journey. I know a little bit about it, but obviously I want to get to learn more and share that with the audience. That's why I started this podcast. And you were signed to RCA Records.
Yeah, that was about 2 years ago that I did get signed. I had a band for a while, a little cover band in Tamaqua, where I grew up, and then basically just ended up getting into circles in New York where I met somebody who was a higher up at RCA, and he ended up signing me to his imprint. So I did that. I did Ghost and Colors at home ahead and Scatterbrain with RCA.
Very cool. And I mean, when we talked last a couple years ago, I asked you, what does it mean to be on RCA Records? And you were like, it's having a stronger backbone. It's being able to have support as far as marketing and getting your music out there. But you're no longer with RCA. You signed with you said like a longtime friend with ENCI Records.
Yeah, I don't know if they're saying ENCI or ENCI Records.
Okay, I'm sorry.
It's actually Pat. No, it's all good. It's Pat Magnarella, who's my manager.
Okay.
He's managed me since the beginning of my career with RCA. And
Okay.
then when we left RCA, he started forming his own label. So
Awesome.
I was completely down to work with him because he's been such a good, supportive team member, him and Steve Massey. So yeah, I joined forces with them.
Now, can you get into obviously, RCA Records? I mean, it's a big name. So you're with them, and now you're not. Can you get into a little bit about why you chose to leave, or what happened with that?
Sure. I feel like it's talking about like talking about a breakup, which it's not. It's not at all. It's not at all. So I'm trying to think of the best way to explain it. It's kind of like it's kind of like you get signed, and it's just the way this process works. You get signed, they throw a little bit of money at you to see how it does, and then after a certain amount of time, they decide, okay, are we going to keep this artist, or are we going to try to use funds for another artist, or is it working, is it not working, kind of thing. And I don't know, we kind of just decided it might be better to try it more of a, I wouldn't say indie base, but just more creative control, more control where I can produce the songs a little bit more and not and just do more with the music, just be more a part of the process,
Sure.
more a part of the process with the artwork, with the music, with the production, with everything. So
That's cool. And you have a new record coming out in October, correct?
absolutely.
And this is apart from RCA Records. This is you and ENCI Records.
Yeah. So basically, what happened was after I left RCA, I had a whole bunch of songs demoed out and ready to go that I produced, and I went to school for engineering and everything. So like I mixed and mastered and did all the things. And that's when Pat heard basically the record I wanted to put out and said, I'll sign you to my label. And then he got me to fly out to LA, and I got to record at Capitol Studios in LA, and we got some organic sounding drums, and we basically tightened up what I already had recorded in Pennsylvania.
Right. So for those watching, you do have an EP out called Hydroplane that you released 2 years ago under RCA.
Yes, correct.
And then you followed that up a year later with a single called Scatterbrain.
Yes.
Also very good. And I had the pleasure of hearing some of the songs off the new full-length record. And I feel like you really picked up.
Who leaked those to you?
What's that?
Who leaked those to you?
I have no idea. I'm a very important person. I ask for things and they come my way.
Okay.
But no, and it's I feel like you really picked up where you left off. But I can definitely get a sense of that creativity that you now have being on your own. I use that loosely.
Yeah.
But I remember the lead single off this next upcoming album is called Rope, and that will be released on September 18th. And I remember the exact moment that I heard the song for the first time. And it was a little over a year ago. I think I feel like June of 2019. Mm-hmm. You guys were doing a show with us at the station, Alt 92.1. We called it Altitude. It was a kind of a festival at Montage here in what's music, but I'll say Scranton for those who need a better reference point. I remember we were doing stuff backstage. We were doing meet and greets and things like that. And I was walking back the listeners back up, and I heard it. And I remember I stopped. I'm like, what is this song? And who is it? And I look over at the stage, and it's you guys. And I remember messaging you like, I don't know if it was that moment, hoping you'd see it later.
It was immediately. Yeah,
I think I also saw you later, and I asked you. But
yeah.
Yeah, I was like, what is that song? That song is awesome. I'm so glad it's like on its way out, because that was almost, like I said, like probably 13, 14 months ago.
Yeah.
So I'm super pumped for that. I'm happy that it's going to be out in the world. So were you with RCA at the time? At that point? A year ago?
It gets blurry because like being with RCA or not being with RCA just comes down to whenever the final paperwork was filed. So like I kind of felt like we were on our way out like after the Andy Black tour, which was June. But I don't know when the actual paperwork was finished, I technically don't even know when I signed to Pat Steele, because it's such a legal process until it's finalized.
Right.
Like I knew the record was coming out in December. I'm just telling you now, whatever, it's September. I knew it's December. So
wow.
Things just take a little bit of time.
Yeah.
But yes, technically I was with, I guess so. They never heard it though. They never got to hear any of these songs.
I don't even know if you played it that night. I just remember you guys sound checking or whatever with it, and I was like, "What?"
Oh no, we played it.
Did you play
it? Yeah.
I was all over that night, so I heard it during sound check, and I was like, "Wow, this is awesome."
Yeah. Yeah, you were the first There's two things I wanted to say. You were the first like legit fan of Rope because that was the first time we ever played it live, and this is technically the first interview that I'm doing for the new record. So another first for
What's
us.
up? What's up? What's up?
Yeah, man.
Heard it here first.
I said Joe Rogan 2.0, baby, right here.
Oh God. If I had a fraction of his talent and a fraction of his money, I'd be a very happy man.
Yeah, yeah, me too.
But
I do.
I do get sweet swag. This is a Coors Light button-down shirt for those of you who were like, "Hey, that's an awesome shirt." It is Coors Light.
Well, maybe you just start like swinging some kettlebells,
I
and
actually, well, see, Joe Rogan can tell me to jump off a bridge, and I probably would. He's a big kettlebell guy, and so I have two, and I haven't used them. I have them.
I have two over there.
I gotta start swinging them, I guess.
I used them pretty intensely for like a year, and then just I got bored of just swinging it around. Like that's all you can really do with it. So.
I'm just lazy. Like it's the well, I'm not lazy when it comes down. Like I have a hard time starting things. Like even when it comes to like a project at work, like I'll put it off till the last minute because I just don't want to do it. But once I get into it, I bang it out. It's done.
That's
Yard
most
work.
people.
Yeah, yard work. I put it off till I have to get it done, and I get one thing done in the yard, and then I keep going on to the next. And I had no plans on even doing the next project, but here I am. So I
That's
just
exactly how I am, and I think that I always thought that those were like manic episodes where it's like you don't feel like doing anything, then you decide to start. Next thing you know, it's 9:30. You didn't eat it all,
yeah,
and like you don't even know who you are anymore.
yeah,
And that's
yeah.
what happens on a daily basis here.
Does that happen with your writing process and creating stuff in the studio?
Listen, let me tell you, the daily schedule that I try to do
Okay.
is we'll wake up, go for a run, stretch, some self-care stuff, right? Then I have to eat breakfast because if not, I won't eat. And then in the studio from whatever time we get in, like 10 a.m. to 1 p.m., Alexa comes off with an alarm saying you need to eat. So it reminds me to stop. And if I don't, I'll skip that meal and then work again in the studio till 6. Alarm goes off, eat. So I literally have alarms to, remind myself to stop working.
To be human. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Yes, we
Yeah.
need that, right?
So yeah, that definitely happens because also it's such a blurry line between um, hobby and just doing something you enjoy and working. Like I can start listening to a song just to enjoy it, and then next thing I know, I open the session and I'm starting to mix, and now I'm working and didn't realize I started working, and I don't even notice I'm getting burnt out until I start getting miserable.
Right.
So working on that.
Right. Well, I feel like, and if I'm wrong, I apologize, but I feel like, and I saw something on your website or your Facebook page. Kind of, I wish I wrote it down, but it was kind of like, how can I tell you who I am or about me if I don't know who I am?
Yeah.
So I feel like, and even when I met you, I feel like, and I don't know a lot about you, so if I speak out of school, I apologize, but um, I just feel like you're constantly kind of on a journey, and you're constantly learning. You're learning about life. You're learning about you know you and who you are, and your kind of your place in the world. Is that accurate?
Yeah. It's I always feel like I always feel like I'm searching for something and just trying to figure out more. And I don't think that you ever get to that finish line. I used to think when I was younger, you get to that finish line. So I was always like just trying to go as fast as I can to get there to get to the point of like, okay, now I understand it all. Now I know who I am. Now I figured it out. But I don't think there is figured it out. And if you did figure it out, I think you might have settled because you should never feel like you have it all figured out. You should still be searching. You should be finding new things that you enjoy doing and pushing yourself personally and physically and mentally. I think that that's what living's supposed to be anyway. And it's terrifying to do that, especially for someone with like, uh, disassociation and anxiety and whatever, which most people I feel like have to a certain extent, especially nowadays with, our attention spans and social media and all that. But Yeah, I just think it's important to really push yourself and kind of do like an exposure therapy on yourself, where with the things that you don't enjoy doing, just start doing them and you'll get used to that discomfort.
Right. And if you think you have it figured out, the world is going to come and kick you in the face because like this year with COVID-19.
Yeah.
If anyone thought they had life figured out, I think that definitely took everyone for a turn. How has
I think you can have it figured out temporarily, but it changes so fast.
it does?
You'll have it. I mean seconds. You might have it figured out for seconds. And that's it.
Yeah. How has COVID-19 affected you, your family, your life? Has anyone been sick, or how is your world?
Well, actually, so uh, Ghost, who I wrote with Carlo Colasaco and Eric Biquette, Carlo, when Colors came out, he actually lost his fiance to she had CF, and then during COVID, his dad actually passed away from it. So I
Wow.
feel really badly for that kid, and I have to catch up with him soon. But he's someone who I definitely, when people were saying like this isn't serious, you don't really need to, it's made up, the government, blah blah blah. I was like, yeah, but I know people that have it, and I know this person whose dad died from it, and just try not to be so insensitive about that,
Yeah.
like, But for me, obviously, it affects me. I mean, every musician, any engineer, any artist, anybody who's doing lighting, anybody who's doing production, it's affecting. It's actually been really good for me though, because I've just had a lot of time to really work on music and myself. I've been a little disconnected on purpose. I think that's been good for me. Um, I've had to work, making money other ways than using a major label advance, which is fine. My brother started a construction company because of COVID, because you were allowed to still do construction. So I started roofing with him.
I saw pictures of that.
Yeah, yeah. I got a little bulkier and a little tan, so I was happy about that. Nothing wrong with that.
And you cut your hair. Did you grow it
I
back, or
shaved,
what's
I shaved my head not because I went nuts, but just literally because I had the roof and I was too hot.
right? So
Yeah,
you
but
it
I'm
wasn't
going
like
back now. I think I'm gonna do like the whole. We'll see how much my patience holds out, but that's why I'm
yeah,
wearing a hat too. It's like at the stage that you don't want anybody to see it. So
yeah. I was shaving my head last year when I saw you. My head was shaved, and yeah, I guess in that middle stage where it's kind of like fuzzy, and you
what's
can't,
she then?
yeah, you can't do anything
Yeah.
with it. Um, yeah, it's weird,
So you were
but
really trying to be Joe Rogan at that point. You were
yeah,
just like all in.
I was all in, 100%. I had the fanny pack on that day too.
You did. I remember because dude, all we talk about is Joe Rogan. Like, yeah, new music, Joe Rogan. See you later. Nothing wrong with that, man. Nothing wrong with that.
We have to have those we look up to, right?
What was that?
So we have to have those who we look up to,
That's right. Yeah, you need role models. It's like him and Jordan Peterson and who else? Those are like the only two that I really, really been listening to.
Right.
Or like deeper stuff than that.
Yeah, he moved into his new studio in Austin, Texas. Joe
Mm-hmm.
Rogan, that is.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know how I feel about his new studio yet.
That's what everyone's saying. They're like, it's a red spaceship looking.
Yeah, I mean the minute he posted, like before it was even done, I was like, wow, this looks like a spaceship. But now it looks like a like a rocket ship,
Does it look
and
tight to you?
it looks very claustrophobic,
Yeah, I thought so
and
too.
and he looks like he is sitting against a green screen, and it's just like it's fake.
Yeah. Oh,
Whatever. He can do
Illuminati
whatever
got
the hell he
him.
wants.
He's on Spotify now, and he's just
Yeah, he could do
raking in
whatever he
that money.
wants.
That's all he's doing.
But so when I interviewed you at the station, you had Ghost, and it was you, it was Keith
hmm
and Jerome.
hmm
Are they still with you?
Um, yes, Keith definitely for sure. Jerome has been switching between another band in the area, and Keith is also in another band as well. But we're all good friends. We're all in the same. When we eventually tour, I will obviously offer to them if they want to come with
Okay,
with
cool.
me. But yes.
And then at one point, and I loved the sound, I loved the songs you guys created, but then you added April or
Mhm.
April Rose. I don't know what she goes by. And I
April Rose
felt,
Gabrielli, yeah.
what's that?
April Rose Gabrielli, yeah.
Gotcha. When you did that, I felt like I didn't think you were missing a piece, but then when you added her, I felt like the band was complete and that you were missing a piece prior to her. Because I just think she was a huge addition for you guys. Is she also still involved?
Yeah, she's
Cool.
very heavily involved. Yeah, she was definitely a good addition. She's who I wrote Scatterbrain with too.
Mm-hmm.
So that was my first co-write with her, and then we wrote a lot of songs together for the record that's coming out. And then she is in a band called the Rose Monarch as well,
Mm-hmm.
and the guitarist for their band, Kevin Eiserman. She also introduced me to him, who's now one of my good friends, and I co-wrote a couple songs with him on the record as well. And just to bring Keith back up, I wrote Rope with Keith. That was the first song we wrote for the record. Basically, we got back from tour, and that was the first song that was written for the record with Keith. So, I mean, I'm using everybody in the band to try to, use a little bit of pieces of them in the record, not be 100% me. But yeah, she's been a great addition, and happy for that.
But is it fair to say that you're like 80%? Like this is kind of like your thing and you're using, people around you to kind of make everything happen? Because it sounds like it's like this is me and this is like my kind of the road I want to take, but obviously you need help too.
Well, I'll tell you what it is. Since I was young, always wanted to do a record that is just me. Like, this is what I know I can do all of the parts. I can do every single part, right? Grow up, you realize that's a little naive. You can't do all the parts. Went to a major label, decided let them try to do everything for me so I can, just be the singer and be an artist. Then decided that's not for me. I was not fulfilled doing it. So now this record is me producing everything, writing everything, and then, if the timing's right and if the situation's right and the people that are closest to me are able to work with me on a song, we'll absolutely do that. And that's kind of what it is. It's kind of just, it's kind of just situational. If the people are close at that time, or if a song is specific to what somebody else is feeling that I know they're feeling that way, we can write it like that too. Like the groove for Rope, I would have never written that groove. Like that was Keith's guitar riff and his drum beat. But there's other songs where I included like no one and just sat in my head for a week straight and just made a song completely like that. I want people to know what inside my head sounds like. So if I can do that without help, I'll do it. And if I can't, then I'll, but I honestly, I love co-writing with these people and I wouldn't do it differently.
Right. And I've had the pleasure of also seeing the video for Rope, which I thought was unique. How does that come together as far as, did you hire a production team for that, or, tell us a little bit about that?
Yes. So we basically needed to come up with some kind of content. And this is like when COVID first started hitting. So we couldn't really do like music videos, and you don't have like a huge budget anymore like you did with a major. So April was with me at the time, and we just said, let's just go find a field and I'll just perform and I'll lip sing it and let's just see what it looks like. So we brought like a tripod for an iPhone, and she pressed record and pressed play on a Bluetooth speaker, and I did one take, and it was horrible and I hated it and I was angry. And then we did like 6 or 7 more takes, and then eventually one was good.
So that was done on an iPhone.
We have 4 singles coming out, and they all have lyric videos. Any videos that aren't just graphics are all self-filmed with an iPhone, yeah. And then we just had a team make the lyric videos.
Sure.
This kid named Nico and this other kid named Brandon. They're super talented. I don't know their last names, but they were really, really good, and I hope we use them again.
So the commercials for the iPhone do not lie. You can like literally make.
Well, you have to send it to a professional team to boost it up and make it look like that.
All right. Okay.
I'll send you the raw. It was not the same.
Okay.
But there's not really too much editing besides, all the lyrics.
Right.
Yeah, but no, it was literally just on the side of a highway, and we didn't know who owned the land, and we were like, let's just do this as quick as possible. And I was just running across the field, and there's houses right there. They must have been watching out their windows, being like, what is this idiot doing? But it was fantastic. It was really fun. That was the most fun one. Rope was the most fun.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say I really liked the video for Scatterbrain too, which was kind of like a compilation of live videos put into um, to make this video,
Yeah,
which I thought was just it was so cool because like you have April, you know, voicing part, not voicing, but like it's a visual of her like singing parts of the song, and even Jerome, and obviously you, and even like the drum when you know Keith was on the drums, that all synced up really well. Um, so yeah, you guys definitely everything you guys have done, um, even from you know the videos to the to obviously the music to even your performance, because I got to see you guys not only at Montage Mountain last year, a few months prior to that, I saw you at Stage West when you were here, and I forget why you were here.
I think we're opening for four cash.
Yes, that's exactly what it was. It was during St. Patty's Day parade time ish.
Yep, yep.
Um, and your performances are all high energy and very well done, and it's really cool to kind of see. I mean, I want to say you started in 2018. I know you were obviously very involved before that, but I feel like that's kind of where you started, like your major entrance into the music world. So it's been kind of cool to be you know part of the ride. I'll use that loosely as well because obviously I've only seen you you know 2-3 times, but you were my first interview. I hung out with you at Stage West. I hung out with you at Montage Mountain. So and now we're doing this, which is the first interview for you for you know your upcoming stuff. So it's
Yeah, dude. I love hearing that. Don't be ashamed of saying it that way. I like when people feel like they're part of the process and the ride because they are. That's what makes this an experience. Without the people, there's no experience. It's just me doing it myself. So
and I saw some video of like a lot of shows that you guys have done, and there's always a ton of fans out in the crowd. Hopefully, we can get back to that sooner than later. But what's that like for you to be on stages and having people like in those large audiences and singing your songs back to you? And what's that like?
well, first of all, if we ever have a show that we don't have a lot of people, I can just blame it on COVID. So there's a positive with COVID. But that's the only positive I can think of. However, how do I enjoy that? Well, you know, the tours we were on with massively packed rooms, they were a different feel than like the headline tours that we do where there's you know a room of people where they know every song. The tours where I'm supporting act, those are so much different because those are like okay, I have to go out here and I have to win these people over so that they continue to listen to my music and like they need to buy into what I'm selling them and I need to make them feel the way that these songs, you know, made me feel. Whereas the room with like I forget where it was. I think it was Ohio, but that might not be right. There was a room on a headline tour and the whole room like just sang the last chorus of Colors and I just kept singing it after the song was over and then stopped singing it and the whole room kept singing it and it was like it's pretty incredible that it's just incredible how many people it touches and you don't really notice it, you know, you don't notice it unless you consciously really notice it. Like it can just you can be so underappreciative of it, which I think I was for some time, you know, where I was trying to get to a higher level and wanting more and more and more, and then I wasn't appreciating it as much as I should have been. I'm definitely in the appreciation uh, mindset now.
Gotcha. I can't imagine that feeling. It's got to be really neat. And
It's neat, but you're also shitting your pants.
well, sure, sure.
It's nerve wracking, and I was an idiot and put like an intro song. So like for the first minute, you're just standing off the side while like people are cheering, and you're about to go on. You're like, hope I don't trip over any cables, which Jerome did a few times. So I mean, it's not impossible to do that
Yeah.
either.
I got to introduce Blue October last year, last April.
hmm
Um, in the audience, I think it was like 1,800 people or so. not a huge room, but not small either. But I remember like being told that I was going to introduce them like 3 hours prior to that, and I was like shitting my pants. Like I don't belong in front of that many people, and I love that band too. So it was like, wow, I don't want to screw this up. But I
Mhm.
don't know if you've ever had the pleasure of meeting those guys, but Justin Furstenfeld is a stellar human being. I was backstage with them hanging out. They were stretching and doing whatever, and he could tell I was like nervous. He could tell I was like you know on the edge. And I'll never forget. He came up to me. He gave me a hug when you can give hugs. Um, he gave me a hug and he said, "You're gonna be great," and then walked away. And I was like, "Holy shit!" Justin Furstenfeld from Blue October just gave me a hug and said, "You're gonna be great." Wild. And again, I mean, I think I probably mumbled some words when I was up there again because I'm in front of 1,800 people. And so yeah, I can't imagine being you guys and being in rooms much bigger than that, and especially initially because like it's scary.
Yeah, I think the hug would have made me more nervous, to be honest with you. Like, oh shit, now that guy gave me a hug and said I was gonna be good. Like, now I gotta be good.
Yeah.
Um, no, I had something similar like that where I was feeling really sick for a show at the Gramercy, and I remember I think it was a stagehands guy, and he just like made me. No, it wasn't. It was the guitar tech for Sleeping with Sirens. His name was Florida, and he was just like saying like, guys, it's just a gig. You guys are like, you're gonna do fine, and it'll be okay. And even if you screw up every now and then, like it's all right. Like you'll be fine. And there's always another time to do this. You don't have to be 100% all the time. Made me feel so much better. Made me not have to, because I was gonna go out and just belt everything and try to hit everything, but instead I decided to like tone it back more and just kind of just get through it, and it was a way better decision to do that.
Very cool. And you're a very young man.
Thank you.
I'm gonna guess. I think you may have told me when I saw you or met you for the first time, but I want to say like mid to late 20s.
Sure,
No?
that's correct.
Okay.
You can guess a number. I'll tell you higher or lower one time. That's it.
27.
I'm 28.
20. Okay, that's close.
I passed the 27 club. Roughest year of my life, but I passed it. You know the 27 club, right?
I don't know.
You know the 27. Okay, so this is actually a decent topic.
Okay.
Possibly only because we're recording it now. But no, the 27 Club it's like the age a lot of musicians ended up killing themselves or dying. So
Oh,
like
okay.
Cobain, Amy
Yes.
Winehouse, like there's a bunch of people.
Yes.
And with me having that kind of stigma around what my music was, like that was like a thing that was in my head of like, oh man, 27 Club, and I felt this way a lot of my life. I gotta, be I gotta get through this and then it'll be fine. Kind of mentality. This has been a very good constructive year, 28. So I'm pretty happy with that. My birthday was April, so
Have you struggled with things like that?
yeah, a lot. I mean, I've been getting a little bit better with it the older I get, which is crazy. I guess it's just acceptance, but um, the depression and anxiety and dissociation, those are definitely the top three in no order whatsoever. And a lot of them play off of each other, where I'll just not feel like myself, or like if I pass like a reflection or a mirror or something, I don't recognize it as me. It happens a lot. But it's not like body dysmorphia. It's not like that. Like I physically feel fine, and I just don't identify a lot of the times with what I actually look like. And time is like another thing that I don't really have a grasp on yet. I don't. It doesn't. I think it takes me longer to process things, and it's hard for me to keep track of everything that I've done in my life and everything that goes on. Like if you say a random year and ask me what I was doing that year, like I would have to look at physical things like or photos to know. Like I honestly don't know. Like it just goes so fast, and I try not to like think about it too much, or else it goes a little crazy.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. I mean, like, I'm 37. I'll be 38 in a couple months. I have a very good memory, and I have a very good memory up until a certain point. And I think that's because the memories that I have that I hold on to and that I can keep. Um, it was when times were a lot simpler. Like cell phones weren't like as prominent as they are now, and life just wasn't as busy and moving so fast. And I just feel like the way today's society is and the technology that we have at our fingertips is it kind of aids to the struggles that people have these days.
I'm glad you bring it up because just watched a documentary called The Social Dilemma. It's on Netflix, and it's about social media and how it works and how it was basically designed as this thing that it's an addiction, and it's supposed to be, and it makes you feel that way, and you get endorphins when you're on it, and you get endorphins when you get notifications, and you feel left out when you're not on it. And I definitely felt that, and I definitely fell into that trap, especially as an artist. And that's the one thing that I don't like about socials, because I would delete them all if I didn't have to be an artist. And I always battle, how much do I post? I have to do this as an artist, and I shouldn't post anything because I don't want people to be on their phones and to be doing this all the time, because they don't realize how bad it is for themselves. Like I was on it so much all the time, just looking for gratification of acceptance, whatever it is, and I really hope that people would think about, how much am I on this thing? Is this good or bad for me? Would I rather be doing something else, And I feel really bad for people in middle school and high school, where it's like really important to fit in and
Right.
not feel left out, because I there's just so many different topics of it that are bad. People are using face filters to make themselves feel better. I debate how much to edit the photos when we post them, on socials, of how much to Photoshop and how much to not. And I don't know. It's a very loaded topic to me, but I just decided I'm going to post, positive things. So if someone does see it, at least it's something good, and I hope that they see it as inspirational and not as something negative for them. But I've been putting limits on, trying not to go on it. It's basically 45 minutes a day, which is
Wow.
still a lot.
It's a lot. You say it's a lot, but that might be like very little to somebody else.
You say that number to someone, I guarantee you they think it's a lot. But if they look at their screen time, if you if
Yeah.
you have an iPhone, you look at your screen time. Like my average screen time is 4 hours. 45 minutes of it's social media.
Right.
So, I mean, I'd be very curious to see like what kids are. Do you have any kids?
I do. I have a son. He is just over 2.5. He'll be 3 in December. And
Well, he gets a phone next year.
well, it's
Earlier
funny.
and earlier, man.
It's funny you say that because we did a great job at not even like allowing him to have our phones or even an iPad or whatever up until a month or two, no, about 2 months ago. And it was almost because we had to, not because he was like crying because he wanted it. It was we were moving, so my wife and I were packing, and it's just me and her and him. So it was like, okay, well, we need him to like be entertained while we get work
Occupied.
done.
Yep.
And we were in our bedroom or whatever, and maybe the one time I wasn't even home, which makes it even more difficult because it was just my wife trying to get some stuff done. And I think she had given him his phone, and he was perfect. I mean, perfect as far as like sat in the bed, didn't move, but it was like he was like zoned out. And a few weeks after that, he was like, I need mommy's phone or daddy's phone, and we went on vacation, and it was like I want grandma's phone, or I want my aunt's phone, and I'm like, holy shit, like this is not good, like this is really not good. He's much better now. I think we kind of were able to pull him back a bit, but just seeing that was like terrifying. I'm like, holy crap! Like this is not good.
And that's just looking at the phone. That's not like, get a little bit older now, there's social media, which is a completely different thing. Or you
Scary.
have even just internet browser, like I was thinking that like one day I woke up and I went to the bathroom like everyone does when they wake up and goes right on their phone. And it was like 7:30 in the morning. Like, why am I reading all these horrible news headlines? Like someone can do that who's like 12 years old now before school.
Yeah.
Like, what a terrible way to start your day.
Yeah, and going back to what you said though, like, people in high school and middle school, like they can get bullied online. And as a parent, like unless you're over their shoulder, or, like just I don't want to say up their ass because I mean you got to give them your kids a little bit of freedom, I think. But like how do you monitor that? And how do you like I mean, I guess like communication with your children and making sure that they have a problem that they know that they can come to you and talk to you. But I just can't imagine like when I was in school, like someone wanted to fight you, they'd say, meet me after school, we're gonna fight or whatever. Wasn't like, and it ended there. Or if they bullied you in school, thankfully I don't know what that was like, but if they bullied you in school, it ended there. Like you went home to your mom and dad, and that was a safe spot for you. But now with social media, that can continue.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, with our age difference, mine was a little bit different. Like we had the whole like you can get bullied on MySpace, and my age was the MySpace age. But I just think I think the only thing you can do is hopefully have a good enough relationship with your kid where it's like, hey, just tell me if you see like have enough of an open conversation where like where you're a parent but you're also a friend and you can talk to your kid. And I think that would go a long way. I have friends that have close relationships with their parents like that, even now being grown up, and I think that's very beneficial.
Yeah, yeah. It's something I never thought about dealing with when I was younger.
Yeah, I
Being
just
a
feel like we're
parent.
so far into it now, man. It's like I said, like I don't even want to be on it, but that's where all of our businesses are. That's where all the musicians are. That's where I started using Instagram as a photo journal. Like where I was like,
Right.
all right, here's me. It's just me, transparent. Now I'm going further away from transparent. I'll randomly write a letter that's open from my heart, but most of it is just it's not as transparent anymore. And there's not really much. I don't know what the solution is yet. Like I have to keep sharing stuff on social media, and I have to do that as an artist. But I think I'm going to tone back on the personal pages, and just promote music and wellness.
Yeah, well, that's good. I
Yeah,
always do too. If I didn't need social media for work, I'd probably delete it too. But it's important for me to know what's going on. I feel like as far as what businesses are doing what, and obviously doing stuff like this with you. I mean, I definitely want to be um, reachable. So it's definitely something you have to monitor and use appropriately, I
yeah,
guess.
yeah. And the only other thing you can do is you can turn off all the notifications, so at least your phone's not buzzing all the time. I mean, turn your notifications on for like the cool official page, but besides that, just turn them off.
Well, it's interesting that we're talking about these type of things right today. Today is Thursday, September 10th. This will probably be released Monday, the 14th, or whatever it might be. But today is National Suicide Awareness Day, I believe.
Hmm.
So if there's anybody out there watching this and need help, please by all means, um, reach out to somebody, whether it's a friend, relative, whatever. Or, we're talking about the internet. Google a helpline. I don't have that in front of me to give it to you. I do apologize, but there are options out there. So please, if you're considering doing harm to yourself or anything like that, please reach out for help. So
There's always healthier ways to cope with it too, because like someone who's done self-harm before like that, like there's healthier ways to get that aggression out, you know
yeah.
um, and I think that it's very important for you to have self-care for yourself. So
Well, cool. Look, I really appreciate you, sharing the positive messages, and because I think people, you know, can find help, uh, by seeing what you're doing and listening to your music and kind of following your journey. So thank you for doing what you do. But let's real quick. You have the album. It's called "Yelling in a Quiet Neighborhood." It's coming out in October. The first single, called "Rope," will be released September 18th. I will be featuring that on my radio show, Alt Natives, on Alt 92.1. I guess the following day. Anything we should expect from the new record that you want to talk about?
Um, a lot of really good music. A lot of really good music that I really needed to say and express. And I think it's going to be very relatable, especially in the times that we're in. And, anybody who is going through any kind of struggle or possibly feel lonely or trying to discover who they are, because that's all on this record. So
Very cool. Well, I'm excited to see what you do with it. Like I said before, I hope you get to go out and share it live with the world sooner than later. Thank you for being part of my life over the last 2 years. I think about you quite a bit, not in an appropriate way or an unhealthy way. But like I said, you were a first for me as far as the radio interview, and I love your music. And whenever we get to hang out, whether it's in person or doing this, we always have a lot of fun. And I appreciate your insights and appreciate the journey you've had and the person you've become and continued to kind of learn from yourself and learn from the world and just kind of keep moving forward in a positive way. So I wish you all the very best. Good
thank
luck
you,
with the
man.
new
Thank you for
record.
having me. Keep having me on. I appreciate it. And you are like literally the first person to really be a Kulick supporter who, had us do the interview. And I think that that was definitely one of the first. It was the first radio promo run for sure. So
Cool.
yeah. And by the way, not to also be creepy, but every time me or Keith wear that alt native shirt that we got from the station, I'm like, oh yeah, remember Johnny? Yeah, I remember him. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm glad you still have it and still wear it.
I swear to you, I do. It's right next to my 97.9X t-shirt, but
Oh,
it's
Jesus.
there.
We almost had a great interview. Shut it down. Shut it down. Mike Duffy, get out of here.
We're all close.
No, I know. I like Duffy a lot. He actually used to work with us at the station was actually called Fuzz at the time. So I was sad to see him go. He's a good dude.
Yeah.
No, there's no hard feelings there. But
Yeah.
thank you again. I wish you the best with the new record. However I can help, please, by all means, let me know. I'll do whatever I can. And hopefully the next time I see you will be in person.
Absolutely, man. Thank you
All
very
right.
much for having me.
You got it. Take care and tell everyone I said hi.
All right. See you, bud.
All right, man. See ya.